Okay, here we are back again in syntax code land. Aren't you just having the best time with this assignment? Remember, you got 2 weeks to finish it, so you can certainly get in touch with me if you're having troubles. And I want to tell you again how super proud I am of all of you, because this is a tough semester, for everybody. Professors are having a stressful time of it, and I know you all are. So just keep your head down, work every day, keep a steady pace, and before you know it, it'll be over. Okay, I'm going to show you two files today. One, remember this data file that we had with all of the variable names, okay? The other one is the syntax code that we were working on in the last video, right? So I'm going to put these things side by side, and when you're done writing all the syntax code, what you're going to do is you're going to run the code against this database. And the whole point of writing syntax is that, right now, the only thing in this database is variable names. But when I finally run this syntax and show it to you, what it does is it fills in all of this and all of this and all of this in like a split second. Pow! So if you're working with a research company and you have a data set that's got 150 variables, it's really nice to have this code to just define a database instantly rather than having to come in and do it, step by step, one cell at a time. That's the whole reason for syntax. Okay? So I'm going to make a few changes to the syntax code. A lot of times when you are working, you'll get this weird thing up here, right? Encoding, whatever it is. It's in kind of gray, pale gray font. So I'm going to get rid of that and move variable labels up to the top. And I'm also going to make some changes here just for the purpose of showing you what happens when you run the code. Okay? So remember, I put check friends in there as the last variable name that I showed you. I'm going to take it out. And I'm going to get rid of this final slash and put a period there. Remember, when you're done with all of the variable labels, the very last one gets a period instead of a slash. Okay? Then I'm going to go down into the value labels and go all the way to the bottom, and I'm kind of going to do the same thing. I'm going to get rid of check friends, and instead of a slash on the last answer choice of the last set of value labels, I'm going to put a period. Okay? What that does is it makes all these section headers turn kind of a bolded blue. And that's what you want when you're done with this thing. Okay? Remember, just like when you're all done with the variable label section, you want to have a period after the last variable label. When you're all done with the value labels, you've entered the answer choices for every single question on the questionnaire, the very last answer of the last set of value labels, probably for the variable work, is going to get a period here instead of a slash. Okay? All right. So let's run this sucker and see what happens. If you want to run the syntax code, activate it or whatever you want, you do this. You click on run and then you click on all. Now, before I do that, when I run it, you're going to see an output window pop up. Remember, because everything that you execute in SPSS shows up in an output window. All right, so let's run this thing and see what happens. What it does is it shows you the result of your syntax code interacting with the database. And luckily for me, I have no warning messages. You will get a lot of them as you're working through this problem, this assignment. You might go all the way down to, socialmead _4, and it'll look fine. And then right underneath that, you'll see something that says warning, blah, blah, blah. And I think I'm going to have to put some of those in a document and put it in the class this week just to show you. Okay, so I will do that, and but I want to show you what happens. Look what happened in the database window. Remember, before I ran the syntax, all we had over here were variable names. But now it has variable labels and value labels and missing values, okay? Because that's exactly what existed in the syntax window so far, okay? So it goes all the way down to out friends, and it gives the variable label, the value label, and the missing values. It gives missing values for check friends because I did not take that away. I still have that down here in the missing values. Whatever appears in the syntax window will happen in the data window, okay? And it happened in like a flash. Let me see if I can, well, no, I don't want to do that. Believe me, it happens in like a split second. Okay? So you're going to have to work to create this syntax file, and then you're going to have to run all, right? The syntax, so it interacts with this database. And in the output window, you're going to have to look for warnings. And if you find a warning in here, you're going to have to fix it in the syntax window. Okay? Don't try to fix it in the output window because that won't help. Whatever the warning is, you're going to have to find it in the syntax window. As a matter of fact, I'm going to do something here. I'm going to type a variable name that doesn't exist at all and show you one of these things. Okay? There is no socialmead _9 in the data set. It only goes to socialmead _8. So when you run syntax and you get an output screen, when you see warnings or errors and you go back and fix them in the syntax window, before you run the syntax again, you must close the output window and don't save it. If you forget to do that, it'll run the next set of syntax results underneath the first one, and you'll be looking at the first one and saying, hey, I fixed that. So don't forget, before you come back after you've made some corrections and run all, close that output window and don't save it. So I'm gonna do run all again and see what happens with this thing. Right now, here's exactly what I'm talking about. Everything worked fine in the variable label section until I got to socialmead _9. okay? And it gives me a warning right underneath that. It gives a break with a blank line, and then this warning, right? And it says there's a warning, da-da-da-da-da-da-da, and the text, it's telling you that it has a problem with sochmead_y_9. And this is the most common warning that you're going to see. It says an unknown variable name was specified on the variable labels command, okay? When you see this message, an unknown variable name was specified, it means that there is a variable name in the data set or in the syntax window that does not exist in the data window. Or it will mean that the spelling between the data window and the syntax window is not the same. That's why I said in the other video, when you're making this variable, when you're making this syntax code, when you're writing it, make sure that you use the same exact variable names as exist in the data set and in each section of your syntax window, okay? Look, Sochmead most. Look at the way it's spelled there. It's the same there, it's the same there, and it's the same there, okay? That is probably the most common warning that you'll get. It just means that something is spelled differently. As a matter of fact, I'm going to try it again and show you. So I've seen this. I know what to correct. I'm going to close that and I'm not going to save it. And I'm going to go right up here and take this out. Now let me show you one more time, okay? I'm going to give you an example of what I was just talking about. Let's say that you're zipping through here and you spell content with 2 T's. And you don't really know it, right? Here, content is with 1 T. Everywhere else you have it with 1 T, okay? But watch what happens when I run the syntax with this one misspelled. Okay? Bling! Okay, look what happened. It ran all the variable labels until it got down to that variable name content with 2 T's. Okay? Because, look what it says. Warning, and the text that it has a problem with is content with 2 T's, and it says exactly the same thing. An unknown variable name was specified. Probably 95 to 99% of the time, when you see this, an unknown name was specified, it's going to mean that the spelling in the syntax window isn't the same in the database window. So I've seen the message, I come over here to my syntax and I make the correction, then I go back to the output window, close it, and I don't save it, and then I just run the syntax again, and here it is, with a perfect syntax run. All the variable labels are good, all the value labels are good, and the missing values are good. There are no warning messages in there at all, and that's what you want. Okay? And it's going to take a little work to get that. And oh man, are you going to be so frustrated, and you're going to hate Kilpatrick. How dare you put me through all this stuff? But it's a very cool thing to learn. It can help you. It can help you in the future, believe it or not. Okay? Now, when you get done with all of this stuff and your syntax code has run perfectly, or as close as you can get, right? This is hard to teach. online. So I don't expect everybody to be perfect at all, okay? When it gets close to perfect, and there's very few warning messages, okay? I'm going to have mercy on you. This file, the syntax code, is the one that you want to turn in. The one you want to upload into the folder for syntax code. Okay, and you have 2 weeks to do this, so the folder is in the second week. You know, here's the first week where you're learning all this, and then the second week, here's the folder. Okay? All right, one more thing. You may not get all this done in one shot. Don't think you have to do that. You have some time to do it. When you save a syntax file and you want to open it up and work on it again, when you want to continue working on a syntax file, do not double click the syntax file to open it directly. Okay? If you do this, it'll open the syntax file and it'll open a blank data file and it'll link itself to that. And that will cause you all kinds of insanity. What you want to do when you're ready to work on syntax again is find, you know, this data file, wherever you've saved it, okay? And save it in a folder, OneDrive, awesome place. And you're gonna open this data set, and then you're gonna go to File, Open, Syntax, and find this thing, you know, wherever you've saved it, okay? I have mine on the desktop in data files, and there it is. The syntax file has a suffix of SPS, .sps. And you know it's that because that's what you named it, okay? All right, so open the data file first, and then use the data file to go in and open the syntax file. And I think I forgot to say this in the first video, but you know, when you open this data file in the very, very beginning, I would go to File and save this as your own data file, okay? And I would name it syntax database and your last name. So you should have 2 files saved to work on this syntax thing, okay? I can go to Open, I can go to Data, and there's the one I just saved, or I can go to File and Open and Syntax, and I can find the syntax code. Now let's say you go, you know, File, Open, Data, and you can't see your syntax file. There's no SPS there. And you're freaking out, man, because you can't find your file. Go to the files of type and just scroll down to the bottom and type, select all files, and then it'll be in there, okay? All files will show every single SPSS file you have, okay? So that's it. Email me with any questions, and come into the office hours, okay? And we can certainly look at this through Zoom, okay? You are all awesome. I know you're going to be able to figure this out, and you'll hate me for it. But just do your best, okay? That's all I ask of you. All right? I'll see you soon. Take care.